perspective, we really kind of have 3 day in the lives. Sometimes it's prenatally. So we see women, it's sort of taking the place of maybe what you would consider a traditional breastfeeding class. And what I love about getting connected to patients prenatally is we're able to tailor the information specific to their family life, or maybe they've had a previous experience that was just not so positive and they want it to be different the second time around. Or maybe they have a really specific working scenario that they need really creative solutions. When I go back to work, help me think through what type of equipment am I going to need. And so we're able to just spend a lot of one-on-one time with the family and get to know them. And it establishes that relationship, which is that's a huge benefit. I love having an established relationship with the patient that you can kind of see throughout one pregnancy. Sometimes we're seeing patients for, second pregnancies. So that's one scenario. The other scenario is actually in the hospital. And you would be surprised at how many women I see that say, hey, I'm connecting with you in the hospital because they have no lactation coverage here. Maybe they don't have full-time coverage, to include nights and weekends and holidays, or maybe they don't have any lactation staff at all. There was a lot of lactation professionals that were furloughed during the pandemic, and the staffing ratios are still not up to par. They weren't even prior to the pandemic, but I still see patients in the hospital with those same scenarios. And then the other is really just what I would consider a more acute case, where they've come home. Maybe breastfeeding got started off well in the hospital, maybe it didn't, but they're there the third, fourth, fifth night, their baby is crying, they really just don't know what to do, and they need somebody fast. And I always say, babies feed every 1 to 3 hours. So by the time that you discover that you have an infant feeding problem, it really needs to be solved, by the next feed before it becomes a more urgent care issue. And so you've got to know where to go to get that critical access to help. And so that's the beauty of being able to be connected already, prenatally. You know exactly who to go to and you can get connected. So on the provider end, on the lactation consultant side, it's just the reverse of that. So we do a lot of education, we do a lot of counseling, but it's really taking those critical clinical skills. When a baby is not transferring milk well, or when a mom has maybe a breast infection, we're helping her to think of creative ways to feed her baby and protect her milk supply while troubleshooting issues at the same time. And so, sometimes to liken it, it's like Zoom for lactation care, kind of exactly the conversation that we're having right now. This is what the experience is like, but there are so many things that you can do with video in particular to help a dyad be able to be successful and meet their own breastfeeding goals.